Bueno, pues aquí retomamos la búsqueda. Es lo que sé sobre este apóstol. Venga, a ver.
That's right. St. John is often credited with writing about the apocalypse in the last book of the Bible. He's also known as the youngest of
¡Ah!
Christ's apostles. Hey, wait! That means it's him. He's the youngest apostle. Right.
Juan, ¿no?
This painting is therefore associated with the answer which E had to give to my mother. Now, I just need to know how to recover the answer.
¿Ha dicho detrás?
It's St. John, painted by Guido Rini. St. John is the only apostle painted in this gallery who hasn't got a beard.
Bien, o sea que me tengo que...
The painting looks like it's been taken down recently. But wasn't my mother said that she would wait for an answer hidden behind the apostle?
Mira
Of
detrás.
course. There's something
¡Uy!
written behind the painting.
¡Qué listo eres!
On the second day, the pilgrims will listen to the prophecy of the young apostle. They shall add one companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their rank. What does it mean?
Me cago en mi vida, tío. Que yo no entiendo de estas cosas. Me salen las cifras. 1 a la izquierda, 3 a la derecha. Recordar el libro mencionado. Ay, no quería hacer esto. Pues probablemente sea otro versículo de la Biblia, de Juan, hablando de los peregrinos, y un 13, ¿no? Evangelio según San Juan. 1 a la izquierda, 3 a la derecha.
I and my Father are one.
Ah, bueno. Ta, tara, ta, ta, tara, tara. Juan.
If we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us.
Bien, necesito seguir pensando. Pensar en el código.
They should add a companion to their left and 3 to their right to complete their ranks. I imagine it applies to their code, the one Mother set up with the pilgrims. What's this? A group of pilgrims who Paul was talking to, and now John is telling them prophecies?
Pues me quedo igual, ¿sabes? Me quedo exactamente igual.
On the second day, the pilgrims listened to the prophecy of the young apostle. The prophecy of the young apostle, that was John. And the prophecy mentioned is most likely the book of Revelations according to St. John.
Me cago en una de estas. El libro de las revelaciones, ¿eso está aquí? ¡Claro que está aquí! Soy imbécil. Juan. Revelación de Juan. ¿Y ahora qué?
And the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times, and half a time, from the face of the serpent. Hey, a new note, unfolded carefully in the corner of this page. The writing, it's not my mother's. S. I found the book in your effects. I've concealed it where no one can get their hands on it. I can assure you, awaiting your instructions, I will hear your reply like he who hears the angel. Hears the angel? What does that
Joder.
mean? Oh, it's probably the place where she was expecting to get the location of the next note.
¡Ah! Y su respuesta como el collar ángel. Oye, un cuadro de un ángel, ¿no? ¿No suena que había dicho algo de un ángel antes? ¿Este?
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. St. Paul is the only saint to be presented twice in these paintings, contrary to the other apostles. How come? Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior. This painting has been hanging here for a long time. A lot of dust is built up on it. Well, a finger has drawn a number in the thin layer of dust. I can read the number 4.
¿4 qué? ¿4 qué? Lo estoy pasando mal por no sé qué hacer. Número 4.
Dante's Paradise. Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
Oiré su respuesta como el que oye al ángel. Como el que oye al ángel. Ojo, moneda de colección. Aquí hay cosas que oír.
There are burnt papers in the chimney.
Estoy volviendo a ver esto porque no sé qué es lo que era.
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting.
Ah, esto es lo... Vale.
We must find a
Vale,
safer
esta es
way
la
to
primera pista.
communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So mother had an accomplice here. Who could
¿Será
it
el
be?
4?
Who could she be suspicious of?
Tiene que ser la Biblia. Tiene que haber más cosas en la Biblia.
Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Y yo me pregunto, ¿no puedes coger, agitarla así que caigan todas las notas de golpe? Ay. ¿Y este era de quién? ¿De quién y el 4?
St. Paul on the road to
San Pablo.
Damascus. Caravaggio.
San Pablo. San Pablo y el 4. ¿Qué hay algo que hacer?
Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. There's nothing worth noticing here. Little characters are engraved on the chest of drawers under the urn. It's a sentence in Hebrew.
Hombre, por eso...
It says, count in the dust. All right, let's do it.
Cuenta en el polvo, ese es 4. En los alrededores... En el
There
mundo
are
polvo.
finger marks, deliberately drawn in the dust.
8.
8 in all. That's what the message in Hebrew spoke about. Hebrew 8. No, nothing of value here. It's too cumbersome for me to unhook here, but judging by the dust, it hasn't been moved for months, if not years.
Hebreo 8. Hebreo 8. Y este no me acuerdo quién era.
Painting of St. Mark from the
Marcos.
collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Marcos. Marcos. Aquí no hay ningún 8. Me quiero morir.
And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they were made ready, he fell into a trance. Hey, there's a note here. A
Joder.
message from Mother in reply to E.
No puedo tener más suerte.
We must leave urgently, but first I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare. Watch out for Volner. He figured out I was avoiding him. Allay suspicion. See you tomorrow evening. Stand ready. For now, let's cease all communication until we meet. Take care of yourself. I suppose this must be the last message.
Menos
What
mal.
happened afterward? If it's what I suspect, I fear the worst. What did Mother mean by, I absolutely must go beyond the nightmare? I must go beyond the nightmare.
Flipante la suerte que
What
estoy
does she
teniendo,
mean by that?
Me podría haber quedado perfectamente 6 horas leyendo pasajes de la Biblia y sin tener ni puta idea de qué hacer. Por cierto, voy a tomarme uno de estos que tengo. No, este no. Este. Me quito este. Bien. Sí, por lo menos. Obviamente va a ser una
Guessing
alegoría.
it's a metaphor. I need to figure out what this means. Mortimer's getting his guests together. I ought to join them so I don't look suspicious.
Uf, más sospechoso de lo que ya eres, compañero. He tenido nota de la Biblia. Madre mía, cuántos libros. Aquí no de la Biblia. ¿Y estos son monedas? Tengo 18 ya. Muy rico. Quiero salir de esta habitación. Uf. Madre mía. ¿Dónde está mi madre? Superada. He convencido a los Mortimer de la culpabilidad de un sospechoso y he descubierto el mensaje de mi madre. Fallida. No he entendido el mensaje de mi madre. Podría haber encontrado la conversación entre mi madre y su compañera. No he entendido el mensaje de mi madre. No, la verdad que no. Podrían encontrar una conversación entre mi madre y su compañera. Si la he encontrado, ¿no? Bueno. ¿Dónde estará mi madre? Trágico final. Me han dado un logro. Manuscritos para equipar 3. Pues mira, distracción, política, lógica, protocolo, Inquisición, ciencias. Inquisición, why not? Me da igual. Me preocupa tener tan pocos puntos. Talento desbloqueado aprendiz. A ver, un momento, estoy bloqueando un montón de cosas. Ya tengo puntos que subir, ¿no? No puedo. Talentos aquí. ¿Esto para qué sirve? No tengo ni idea, pero bueno. Sí. ¿Hola?
You are expected in the small salon, sir.
Porque música más siniestra. Bueno, vamos al salón.
Emily, I must speak to you.
What's the matter, Louis?
I have news about your sister.
What have you found out?
Look, I've started piecing together the events leading up to my mother's disappearance and your sister's. Did my mother know about your secret?
Yes, even though I belong to the English chapter, her rank in the Order gives her access to a good deal of personal information.
Must have been Emma I saw in my vision. I was given to understand that my mother and your sister bonded during their stay.
Ahora son mensajes. Por ir más allá de la...
I've got a question that might seem a little bit strange.
I'm listening.
If I said go beyond the nightmare, would that ring any bells?
No, means nothing to me. Do you mean literally or figuratively speaking?
It might be a place. I don't know where, but it's a lead.
You ought to ask His Eminence. He knows the house and its estate very well, being a frequent visitor here.
Thanks for the advice. Should I speak to her about my vision? If what I saw is true, she might want to take revenge.
Pero si no se lo digo, a lo mejor luego se entera y se cabrea conmigo. Y es que, no sé, he venido a por mi madre, pero la verdad que no sé qué está pasando, está como todo loca. Pero es que de esta tía me fío nada y menos. No sé, deberían contárselo.
Emily, there's something else.
Go on then.
It's about your sister. I don't know what happened exactly, but it's possible that my mother had a go at her.
I know, Louis. I found out that same evening. Well, thanks for not trying to hide it.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know I can. It seems that your mother tricked Emma. She apparently asked her to hide an important book, so that even she wouldn't know where it was. And then she shot her like a dog to make sure no one would ever find it again.
¿Cómo se ha enterado ella?
How did you find out?
Sir Gregory told me on my arrival.
I'm sincerely sorry, Emily.
Thank you, Louis. But you do realize your mother will have to accept the consequences of her acts.
There must be an explanation, Emily.
That's what we shall see. Come, Louis. They're waiting for us.
Madre mía, esta tía sabe más de lo que... Pero bueno, espero que ahora ya la tenga de aliada. Después de haber
You will pay
lesiones.
dearly, Peru. I'm sure you were involved somewhere along the line.
That's right. Pretend you don't know. One piece of advice. Don't travel through France on your way back. Boy, it'll cost you dearly.
Calm now, my friends. Let's calm down. Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
What's going on here exactly?
Sir Gregory called us together to introduce the last guest.
But hardly had we arrived when he set upon Monsieur Peru.
And who is this charming character?
Manuel Godoy, the Duke of La Alcudia.
He's the
Se me
head
hace un
of the
montón una bola
Spanish
para
government,
Napoleón.
Monsieur de Richet. He's the one who, in practice, controls Spain.
How could you dare do such a thing? Dios mío, you are all out of your minds.
Really, Duke Manuel? What made you kick up such a fuss?
What? Have you not heard? Well, let me inform you that yesterday morning at 10:22 a.m. precisely, in the middle of the Place de la Révolution in Paris, by decree of the National Convention which Monsieur Peru works for, King Louis was guillotined. What?
Oh, no.
The King of France is dead, gentlemen. Our monarchies are in danger. I have said it before. How dare they?
Oh dear.
Oh, as if...
Friends, let us calm down.
Don't pretend to be surprised. He got a fair trial.
Ridiculous! Bastard! He was sentenced to death by 361 votes to 360. You beheaded a king for one vote! Is that your democracy?
What an obnoxious act. Until this, anything was possible. This political coup will have grave consequences.
France is lost.
Gentlemen, please. Let us take a step back a moment.
In the name of holiness. He was the highest representative of God in France, Emily.
Voy a calmar los aguas.
Gentlemen, Duchess, we're all among people of reputable company here. We should be able to manage the conflicts of our nations in a respectful and orderly manner.
I fully agree with you, sir.
But
That's enough, sir.
with whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
Louis Maras de Richet.
Are you related to Sarah de Richet?
Sarah is his mother, Duke. Gentlemen, this news
Poco
affects
evidente.
us all, but I must ask you to remain calm. It's not the first time history has taken us by surprise. Let's ensure that our respective countries are allowed to respond appropriately to this news.
Oh, rest assured. The response will not fall short, my friend.
Good for you. Well, Your Grace, here I was preparing to introduce you as is proper, and you've beaten me to it. I'm delighted that we are all together at last. Our meeting will therefore be able to kick off shortly. I have just a few more little preparations to take care of before you all find out the reason for your presence here. In the meantime, I shall leave you to get to know one another. When you hear the bell, please proceed to the conclave room on my left, behind that door. I'll see you later.
Madre mía. Lo mismo no nos inflamos a tortas entre todos.
Could you spare a moment, please, sir?
I'm glad you asked. I want to talk to you too. Of course.
Uf.
I heard about your mother's disappearance.
He looks concerned. I don't know why, but I doubt it's from sympathy alone. Well, let's see what he wants from me.
Any news of her? Have you found her, maybe?
A ver si la está esperando.
Why? Is there something you particularly wanted from her?
No, not specially.
My questions made him feel uneasy, but he's keeping his emotions under control.
Your mother and I used to often speak together. I have rarely met someone so learned. To tell you the truth, I was about to make a deal with her.
Vaya.
Did she tell you about our arrangement?
Y por eso está tan interesado. Me cuesta 0. Incitarle a hablar de ello me cuesta 3.
The cat's out of the bag now. More or less, but please do refresh my memory.
Yes, of course. Nothing of great importance in itself. During one of our discussions, she spoke of an old book, which might have been of interest to me, and she had agreed to let me have it.
A book about what?
Ancient occultism. As you are aware, I am a doctor of theology.
Este es el señor que quería...
You
evitar,
might
¿no?
have come across some old books in her belongings, perhaps?
Estudio cromográfico. Parece obsesionado. Muéstralo para que hable de lo que... Voy a utilizar esto porque ya que lo tengo gratis.
The least one can say is that he doesn't beat around the bush. Sarah never travels without a few books. What does the one you're looking for look like exactly?
It resembles a grimoire. It's divided into 7 parts, each one individually locked. It was made in such a way that if someone tried to tamper with it, the sheets would be permanently tarnished. It's a unique copy. There's only one.
The mere mention of it makes his face light up. Well, I'll take a closer look, but I can't promise you anything. You seem very upset. Is it so important to you, this book?
Well, it's the search of a lifetime. What can I say? Every time I move closer to it, it seems to slip away at the last minute. I was very surprised to learn that your mother had it in her possession. I thought it was with a certain von Borchardt in Paris. Do you know him?
Ah. Claro, por eso se mandaban cartas. En absoluto.
I've never heard of him. I'm sorry. I haven't been much help to you.
Well, too bad.
I hope I've been able to satisfy your curiosity, Mr. von Wollner, and that you succeed in finding what you're looking for.
Oh, and so do I.
And now, what if you told me who you really are working for, instead of keeping up this pretense?
I beg your pardon?
We both know what you're looking for, von Wollner. You're the one who von Borchardt was planning to sell it to.
For centuries, all those who have come into contact with the Al-Azif have bitterly regretted it, Monsieur de Richet. You are playing a dangerous game. Please know that I am working for someone who does not appreciate anyone poking around in his business.
Let me guess.
Joder. Mortimer, ¿no? Paul... No sé, no. ¿Qué tiene que ver este tío con...?
Your dear king, I should think.
What? You mean Frederick William? Oh, my poor fellow. You are miles away. That stupid, pretentious puppet wields no real power. But seeing as you do not wish to be serious, so be it. Good luck to you.
No, no era eso. Holy shit. Me equivoqué. Este tío está jugando ya al ajedrez, no quiero acercarme a él. Quiero cotillear. Oh.
There's a pattern with 5 circles on this chest.
Tengo la llave. ¡Yuhu!
There's
Fantástico,
no
tu casa.
space left. I'll retrieve it later.
Voy a tomar una. Ah, no puedo tomar una porque estoy a tope. Bueno.
Chronicles of the Amber Princes. As I recall, Dorkin was my favorite character.
Tengo que saber más del tío este con el que acabo de hablar, porque ahí en esa última me ha pillado y no sabía qué responderle. Y he dicho el rey de Prusia porque guay, ¿no? Como siempre, me la juego, a veces sale bien, otra vez no sé. Probablemente me haya quedado así una pieza de información interesante. Vamos a hablar con este hombre.
Monsieur Bonaparte,
Uy,
may I speak with you a moment?
Maybe.
Does the expression "go beyond the nightmare" mean anything to you at all?
Well, metaphorically, yes. It sums up the career of a soldier quite well. I doubt that is what you want to hear, though.
Indeed. That's surely not what I'm looking for.
Well, monsieur, if you are looking for a phrase book, Lord Mortimer must surely have one, given the number of books he has. You ought to check in the library of the tower. You never know.
Puede ser.
What do you think of Duke Godoy?
Well, I'd rather not express any opinion of him.
Why's that?
His reputation is enough for me.
Meaning?
This gentleman enjoys people talking about him for too many reasons. His undeserved titles, more than 10 in just 4 years, and each one more prestigious than the one before.
You don't think he deserves them?
If I had seen him on the battlefield, there might be some doubt. But that is not the case. The Queen would rather not risk losing him, so she consoles him with awards and titles.
So you don't have a very positive opinion?
His coveting French Catalonia does not encourage me to have one.
I understand your point of view. Would you have any more information about the conference Lord Mortimer spoke of?
Nothing at all. Mortimer is very committed to secrecy when it comes to his conferences. But given the presence of Monsieur Peru and ourselves, I think it must concern France to some extent. Otherwise, I doubt he would have invited 3 Frenchmen to his table, huh?
Well, I'll be
La
leaving.
gente es muy lista, ¿eh?
Shall we meet up again later?
Wait, monsieur. Any news of your mother?
Unfortunately not, no.
I hope to speak with her about my deal before I leave. Let me know if you find her. À plus tard, monsieur.
A plus tard. Bueno, pues hemos más o menos investigado esta habitación y estamos esperando a que suene la campana para entrar a la conferencia. Vamos a dejarlo por aquí.